Thank you, Bahamas. As we continue this round the world holiday meeting, 24 hours of Toastmasters and culture, I call this meeting to order and welcome you to Advanced Speakers Club in Vancouver, Canada, club number 4589, which is also known as Ask Toastmasters, as we honor the past, treasure the present, and shape the future. I'm Marilee Miller, the Sergeant at Arms, and for this meeting flow and to aid our Zoom master, Richard Clune, I have a few instructions as he will spotlight when you are speaking. If you are an Ask member, please rename to show the word ASK before your name. If you were a guest, you may add the word guest before your name, or just add the city, country, and district after your name. We would like you to keep your video on throughout the meeting unless you have trouble with bandwidth or need to leave the meeting briefly. You may rename yourself by finding the word rename by right-clicking your image, or look for 3 dots at the top of your image, or go to the top of the participants list to find the word more beside your name. Please keep your microphone on mute until you're next on the agenda, or unless you have trouble with bandwidth, or unless you are called for table topics. Our co-chairs for this meeting are Toastmasters International President-elect, Distinguished Toastmaster Margaret Page, and Division E Director and Toastmasters of the Year 2019-2020 in District 21, Distinguished Toastmaster Dorothy Miller. Our meeting theme today is the most wonderful theme of the year. For Margaret Page, what makes the holidays the most wonderful time of the year is spending more time just being with friends and family. For Dorothy Miller, what makes this the most wonderful time of the year is celebrating the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Please welcome our meeting chairman, Margaret Page.
Thank you so much, Marilee. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, district leaders, club officers, fellow Toastmasters, and friends from around the world. Welcome to Advanced Speakers Club, the most wonderful time of the year, annual holiday celebration. We are absolutely delighted to be spending this time with you, this very magical holiday time. I remember when I was just a young girl in grade 1, and my brother revealed to me that Santa was actually my mom and dad. I couldn't believe it, and I went running home from school the day he told me that, into the arms of my godmother who lived next door, and I wept as she embraced me. And she said, "Kind, natuurlijk is een Santa." And in the weeks to come, she shared with me and asked me questions about my friends at school. And I kept wondering, how is she going to reveal to me that there does exist a Santa? And on the Saturday before Christmas, we went to Woolco and we shopped and we bought kids' boots and we bought other things. And I was excited thinking, I'm going to get those boots. We bought food in a basket and then went to her house and wrapped it all up. That evening, her husband, Oma Pete, took us a couple blocks away and we parked in the street, and my Tante Yopi told me to hide while Oma Pete took the gift up to the house that we had parked in front of. The people seemed really excited, and I happened to see one of my classmates there. On the way home, Tantiope explained to me that Santa exists in all of us, and it's our responsibility to keep his spirit alive by giving to those that need it. And I believe that Toastmasters does that so well. During this pandemic time, how we have shared caring, connection, and camaraderie with those in our family and those that we've invited to participate in our meetings during these challenging times. In order to make this celebration happen, we of course need to thank 4 amazing people, the fabulous 4 that put this astounding production together. And we give great thanks to distinguished Toastmaster, immediate past District Director Michael Bowen, to past International Director Gloria Shiseido, to past District Governor Dr. Catherine Hansen, and immediate past District Director Helen He. Let's give those fabulous 4 a round of applause. Yes. Whoop. There we go. Now I've got the right thing up. You have before the agenda, so you know the roadmap of where we are going today. We've had the call to the order and the opening remarks. In a moment, you're going to be inspired by our songstress that's in-house. You will have 2 speakers this morning for your, or this afternoon or morning for your pleasure, followed by table topics, the evaluation of the speakers, the evaluation of the table topics. People, we will then introduce you to our reindeer games, have a quick break where you will be doing karaokeing. After the break, we will participate in reindeer games, cahoots games. If you've never participated in that, that's going to be a lot of fun for you, followed by our general evaluation, our last song, carol, that we have at the end of every holiday Christmas meeting for the Advanced Speakers Club, which was chartered in June of 1981. So a long history of celebrating the holidays together. And after that, we will be turning it over to the club in Texas, Afterburners. All right, let me begin by introducing to you our inspirator, our local songstress, Veronica Armstrong, who's going to lead us in a theme song and what she finds most wonderful about the world, about this time of the year, is spending time with holidays. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster, Veronica Armstrong.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome everybody. This is a strange Christmas for us all, and yet despite that, we're getting together in the most remarkable way. So it still remains the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful time of the year. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Veronica. We really appreciate that. If you were a guest with us today, I'd like to invite you to put in your chat where you're from and your club name. We want to meet you all, and we'd like to have the opportunity to do so. So please put that in the chat now. Our first speaker of this evening, or of today, is Darren Frew. And Darren is no stranger to being a district champion. He has won the District 96 Table Topics Contest and the District 96 Evaluation Contest. Today, he's working on his Engaging Humor Path. And as part of today's Holidays Around the World celebration, Darren has been invited to share special memories of that sometimes weird, always wonderful celebration in Newfoundland, Canada, a place that holds a heartwarming memory for Darren. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Darren Frew with his speech, My First Christmas in Newfoundland.
Thank you, Margaret, and hello, everybody from around the world. I was born and raised in Portage-la-Prairie, Manitoba, which is right in the heart of the Canadian prairies. My dad was born and raised in Newfoundland, which is at the far eastern end of this great dominion we call Canada. For the first 12 years of my life, we had Christmas in Manitoba. It was nice, it was flat, cold, but it was fairly predictable. And then when I was 12 years old in 1973, we decided we were going to go to Newfoundland for Christmas for the first time. And we knew it was going to be an adventure, and we were really, really looking forward to it. But it's amazing just what it was like. Back in 1973, the Newfoundland Provincial Tourism Agency had a slogan. They said that Newfoundland was another world next door. Keep that in mind. We flew from Winnipeg to St. John's, Newfoundland on a DC-8. Now, some of you are probably going to have to look that up, but it was an airplane that actually existed and it had jet engines way back then. So we flew on a DC-8, and flying into Newfoundland itself at this time of year is an adventure. The weather there is, we'll go with unique, because where St. John's, Newfoundland is located, it's like a thumb that sticks out into the North Atlantic Ocean. And in December, January, if you're flying into Newfoundland, the weather was saying, okay, fine, we dare you, try landing here. Well, our pilot took the dare and we managed to land at the airport in St. John's. Still the only airport I've ever landed on where the runway had a bit of topography to it. And back then, when we got out of the plane, there was not a jetway. We had to walk from the plane across the tarmac into the terminal. And of course, when we landed and the doors open, getting from the plane to the terminal was like a scene out of Dr. Zhivago. It was an absolute fight just to get to the terminal through the snow and the wind. But we got there and my uncle was waiting for us, and we all bundled into the big station wagon and drove from the airport in St. John's, which is the biggest city in Newfoundland, out to where my aunt and uncle and my cousins were staying, a small village called Holyrood, which was at the head of Conception Bay, just west of St. John's. Driving through a blizzard was nothing new for us, again, coming from the prairies. That was pretty much standard issue. But when we drove into Holyrood and came down over the hill, one thing that we noticed is that throughout the snow, there were lights everywhere. And we soon realized that every house, every building was decorated. It was covered in Christmas lights. There wasn't one house that was left out. Every single building was decorated. It might be a single strand of lights, or it might be something that you could see from space. But either way, everybody was decorated. And that made us feel instantly warm and welcome, despite the nasty weather. When we got to my aunt and uncle's house, my aunt and my cousins were asleep because it was fairly late when we flew in. And we got in and got settled, and their home was quite lovely. My uncle was managing the small oil refinery in Holyrood at the time, and the company gave him this beautiful big home to live in. And it was terrific. It could seat, or it could sleep 8 people quite comfortably, except there were 9 of us. I was given the couch down in the basement as my bedroom for the entire time that I was there. Cool, I thought. This is neat. I can't do this at home. Mom and Dad would never let me sleep on that Chesterfield all night long, and I was going to be there for 2 weeks. This was great. So I was quite happy with the arrangements. Until the next morning, when my twin cousins came down, took one look at me sleeping on the couch, and immediately started screaming. They were only 3 years old, and they didn't remember the first time that we had visited. So they ran screaming upstairs to their mother that there was this strange person sleeping on the couch down in the basement. But my aunt was able to get them all quieted down, and I woke up and looked out the window out onto this amazing scene. The storm had stopped. It had gotten much, much better. We had a clear, clear blue sky. All of the hills around the bay were beautiful white with snow. And then there was this amazing navy blue in the water. It was just glorious. And it was a good thing that the weather had turned better, because the first day that we were there, we went to 2 parties and a wake. Now, for those of you who don't know what a wake is a celebration of life for somebody who has passed, usually more celebrating than anything else. And there had been a young police officer who was killed in a car accident a few days beforehand. So the entire town came out to have a celebration of his life. Well, after the 2 parties in the wake, all of the kids were there. There was no babysitter. Everybody was there. The babysitter was the oldest child who was in the room, which turned out to be me. So much to my surprise, I was riding herd over about 2 dozen kids that I didn't know, and somehow I was supposed to get them to listen to me. It worked. We didn't lose anybody, and there were no riots, which was quite good. Later that evening, we went back home, and I was so happy about being able to sleep on that couch down in the basement. That feeling soon turned otherwise, because the basement was then party central. My aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, a few family friends were all gathered in the basement, drinking and having a merry good time, and preventing me from going to sleep. So most of my holiday there, I was sleep deprived, but it was worth it. And then the second evening we were there, we were introduced to an amazing tradition in Newfoundland that may be in other places. Somebody knocked on the back door, and then suddenly a bunch of people burst in through the back door into the kitchen, and they're all dressed up. Somebody's wearing long underwear, another person is wearing a sou'wester and a raincoat, and they're all in disguise. Well, it turned out it's a practice called mummering, where the neighbors will come, knock on the back door, sing a song, do a dance in exchange for some food and a nice cold drink. Overall, the first trip to Newfoundland for Christmas was sensory overload, but I wouldn't have traded a second of it because nearly 50 years later, those memories are still fresh and they're still precious to me. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. So we've gone from the Bahamas to Newfoundland, and where's our next stop? Well, do you remember being excited about everything during your childhood? Today, our second speaker, Elizabeth Chan, will unfold what it's like to experience a Canadian Christmas as a kid growing up in Toronto, Ontario. Get ready to take a step back in time and celebrate the season with youthful zest. The title of Elizabeth's speech today is My White Christmas. Please join me in welcoming to the Ask stage Toastmaster Elizabeth Chan.
Have you ever dreamed of a white Christmas? Fellow Toastmasters and guests from around the world, let me indulge you with an image of the perfect white Christmas in the mind of a 5-year-old little girl. One word comes to mind: snow. While my parents were always bundling up in the cold wintry months as much as they could, I would wake up in the morning ready to conquer the day. I'd dash down the stairs into the kitchen to see with glee a fresh dump of powder in our backyard. I was excited. Yes, that white, thick blanket glistening in the morning sun was calling for some fun. I'd call out to my parents, Mom, Dad, can I play in the snow? And they'd walk down the stairs, still sleepy in the eye, and help me get into my winter clothes, pull up my pants, my boots, puffy jacket, zip up, a beanie hat with earmuffs, and finally, the mittens. I was ready to just let myself fall into the pillowy layers and just look up at the sky, let the snowflakes fall down on my face, and maybe open my mouth to see what they tasted like, and slowly start making snow angels, one for each member of the family. If I started getting bored, I'd start making snowmen of all different shapes and sizes. And if I noticed my parents were teasing me from the window inside the warm house, I would pretend it was wartime. I'd do snowball fights. It's too bad my brother was a toddler at the time, because otherwise, if he was big enough, well, the snowball fight would be between him and I. Shh. But to me, a white Christmas was so much more than the snow, even though it was magnificent. It was also about decorating our pine tree, The branches would be laced with silver garlands and multicolored lights dancing in the needles. What made it most memorable for me, though, was every year I would come home from the mall, because there was always a kid station making crafts at the mall, with a cheaply crafted ornament, by the way. We would make out of an egg carton a little bell, and we would just cover the outside with glue, roll it in some glitter, and voila, a cheaply made bell for kids. I would hang this on my tree right beside my favorite ornament. It was that of a bright red sleigh. On that sleigh were the 101 Dalmatian parents, Pongo and Purdy, and in the back of their sleigh were their precious puppies inside a snow globe, and you could shake it and all the snow would be dancing in the water. Sadly, somewhere along the way, I lost that ornament. And over the years, I look back at my cheaply made bell, all the glitter is gone, but that's okay, because by nighttime, it would be spectacular with all the different bright lights everywhere, glistening in the night sky. Niagara Falls is quite the treat. If you ever come to Canada, Niagara Falls for their Festival of Lights, sometime when we're able to. The basin of water, which is probably about 50 meters high, 800 meters wide, maybe more, glowed blue, green, purple into the crisp air. There were gigantic displays of the Disney characters, as I remember, The Lion King, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Little Mermaid, attracting crowds from all over the world. My parents told me, come on, go pick your favorite. Go on, pick your favorite, stand underneath it. And they would try to take a picture with their old Kodak camera. Now, was there ever a traditional turkey dinner? I don't know, I don't remember. As a kid, I preferred getting sugar high. That's right. For dinner, the best part for me was, of course, the candy canes, which I would indulge in together with my cousins by the fireplace after we had done opening up our presents in frenzy. And that moment was, of course, special because we would be sitting in a circle, telling stories, maybe looking at each other's gifts. But after the wind down, when everyone was settled to go home, and I'd finally put on my pajamas after a long day, my parents would tuck me into bed, make sure I calmed down after such an eventful day. And I would lay there and I would think, this to me, of all the experiences, is that of a white Christmas. And I hope that I was able to make you dream of one too. Merry Christmas to all of you, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Indeed, I remember those white Christmases with the sunlight or the moonlight on that snow and it glistening all over. It just makes you feel good thinking about it. And I know we have people here from the Bahamas, and many of them may not even have experienced that snow. So thank you so much for sharing what it was like as a child in Toronto. Next up, we are going to have table topics, but while we begin to prepare for that, I'd just like to encourage those people on the call with us today to send a private message to the two speakers. Our first speaker was Darren Frew, our second speaker, Elizabeth Chan. They will have ask in front of their name. Please send them some feedback on their speech, and we will leave it up to the evaluators to give a group evaluation in a moment. But before we do, we are going to open it up for our table topics master, who happens to be the Toastmaster of the Year for District 21 for last year for the 20 2020 year, and she's this year's Division E Governor for District 21. Please put your hands together to join me in welcoming to the Ask stage distinguished Toastmaster Dorothy Miller.
It really helps when you unmute. That's the starting point. Thank you very much, Margaret Page. Welcome, Toastmasters from all around the world, and to all of you that are our guests today. I'd like to begin by sharing my screen with you, and forgive me, this had a little glitch in it, and I think I've fixed it. Oops, see, there we go. So this is the most wonderful time of the year. And I'd like to all of us to think about what that means to us. And I'm going to start by calling on our first Toastmaster from the Ask Club, Margaret Lee, to answer this first question. Margaret, in Canada, we have many winter activities and sports, two of which are curling and ice fishing. So you may not have done either one of these, but was there some sort of sport or activity that you recall as a child from your childhood? Margaret.
Good morning, fellow Toastmaster from all over the world. What kind of game do I recall as a childhood when I was growing up? I grew up in Hong Kong. I have never seen snow in my life. I still remember when I went to grad school in Europe, the first time I saw snow, we all rushed downstairs just to catch snow on my hands. So understandably, the games that I was growing up was not anything related to snow. What we did was I was playing table tennis. I really love table tennis because it could be played anywhere. Whether you have a lot of space and a big standard table or a little one, we could still adjust. As little kids, we are very adaptable. We adapt to whatever it's giving us, and then we play table tennis everywhere we went. Because you see, with table tennis, it is so flexible. All you need is the little bat, the table tennis, and the little ball, and then we can start playing. So it's only when I came to Canada as an adult, then I went to Cypress Mountain once, and behind me is our lions, the two lions we can see from a distance in BC, and that picture I took yesterday when it's snow covered. So I went to Cypress and tried on cross-country skiing. I'm glad I didn't do it because I think I'd break my bones. I so wish when I was a kid that I have a chance to play with snow and have some snow sports. Oh, actually, I tried as an adult too, curling once. I could hardly even stand up. Thank you so very much that I was able to try it. Back to you.
Thank you, Margaret, for sharing a different Christmas experience. I would like to mention that in order to get more people into our table topics, we're narrowing it down to a 1-minute table topics. I know that's going to be challenging for some of us that are used to taking 2 minutes. Our timer, it should be up in your top left-hand corner of your screen. You will see the green light at 30 seconds, the yellow light at 45, and 1 minute at red. Thank you again, Margaret. Our next Ask member that I'd like to call forward is Marilyn Knox. Marilyn, this question is for you. And again, in Canada, we have many different activities and sports, one of which is tobogganing, the other is downhill skiing. And again, Margaret, what sort of experience did you have either as a child or an adult during this wonderful time of year? Marilyn.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters around the world. Well, I came from Alberta, so we didn't lack snow. And I can remember as a little kid, it seemed that we had a lot more snow, and we therefore had snowdrifts in our yard, and we had toboggans, and we had a slough for swimming skating. We didn't swim in the slough, we only skated on it in the winter time. So those were kind of fun family activities because we'd go down there together and we had this little box and we would sit on the box and put on our skates and then try to stand up as you go around the slough. And then we would also, as I said, we had some nice hills and we did some tobogganing, and we didn't have any saucers, but we just had the toboggans and the sleighs. So those were some of the great activities. I also tried skiing later on in life, but that's another story because we want to keep our answers small today so we can share more with everyone. So Merry Christmas. Thank you. And back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Marilyn. Alberta, they definitely have a lot of snow. For our next Table Topics contestant, I would like to call on Marilee Miller, who is an Ask member as well. Marilee, snowmobiling and street hockey are very familiar to anyone in Canada. What is your Christmas or most memorable moment for you?
Thank you, Madam Topic Master. Well, it certainly was not snowmobiling or street hockey for me as a Christmas activity outdoors. For me, it was snow angels, you know, lying down in the snow and moving our hands, especially if the snow is fresh and fluffy, and moving our feet out and in so that the image of the angel would appear when we stood up. Another one my brothers taught me was snowball fighting. I didn't really like that one too much because he had a better aim than I did. And he would get me with these hard snowballs. He would pack super tightly and then he would throw at me and he would make them faster than I could. And he'd be throwing them really quickly at me. And so that was not my favorite. Well, I think for me then the favorite would be going across to the park and we would be sleighing or tobogganing across the park, and that was most fun with the other kids too. So those are my happy memories in the snow, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Marilee. Oh, I had brothers too, and they were really good at throwing snowballs, so I can relate to you. Our next tabletop participant, I'd like to call on Devin Taz from District 18, which is in the US of A. Devin Taz, in Canada, here we love to decorate our yards. So we drive by and look at other people's decorated yards, or maybe we go snowshoeing. So for you, Taz, what is your most memorable experience of this wonderful time of year?
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters and guests. One of the things that I remember most is just decorating in general. My mom's favorite holiday was Christmas. We had Christmas trees in every room of the house. We had Christmas decorations outside. We worked tirelessly from the time of Thanksgiving through to Christmas of putting up all kinds of decorations, lights, deer made out of wood, Christmas trees everywhere, bulbs on everything. So I just enjoyed just all the lights. And like the picture you have shown here, ours weren't as lit up as like that, but very close to it. And it definitely puts a Christmas spirit in you for the whole time of your life. And it just lets you just remember how good it is. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Taz, for sharing that experience. Decorating certainly is a big part of this season. Madam Chair, how are we doing for time? Do I have time for one more?
Yes, you do. You have time for one more.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Hubert Edwards, please. Hubert, are you with us? In Canada, we do something called biathlon, and I'm sure that's in the US as well. We also decorate our gardens, and by that I mean our public large gardens. So that's another way that we celebrate. Hubert, how do you celebrate? What's your favorite memory? And our webmaster must be having a hard time finding Hubert. So let me move on to another contestant then. Could I please call on District 56, Yolanda?
Hi.
Hello, Yolanda. So yeah, Yolanda, your memorable, wonderful Christmas experience.
The one thing that I think about, Madam Table Topics Master, is the fact that 11 and a half years ago, I happened to be in a hospital on Christmas Day, giving birth to my fabulous, now 11, but about to be 12-year-old son, Jeremy. He was due in January. In fact, he was due on my daughter, who happens to be 23. He was due on her birthday. He was due on January 21st. So imagine our surprise Christmas morning, waking up, preparing to open gifts. At the time, they were 10 and 8. So my daughter was 10. I have a son that was 8 at the time. Imagine them waking me up. Mom, it's time to open up presents on Christmas Day. And as soon as I stood up out of bed, my water broke. And I had to tell them, Mom has to go to the hospital. And we ended up bringing a baby home. They joke about him being adopted because they're like, we asked for presents, you brought home a baby. We don't know what happened in between. But now that they're 21, 23, and 11, they absolutely love him. And that will always be my most memorable Christmas. Back over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Yolanda. What a Christmas present that was. Thank you to all of our Table Topics participants. I'd now like to hand the floor back to our chair, Margaret Page.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Dorothy Miller. Wasn't it a delight to hear about the stories of the holidays in Canada, and of course, the beautiful gift of a child on Christmas Day? What could be more delightful? It's time now for the evaluation portion of our program today, and our first evaluator is our club president, distinguished Toastmaster Faye Faye Murray. And what Faye said about why this is the most wonderful time of the year, it's because the family that ends up coming home, and it's the birth of Jesus. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our president, distinguished Toastmaster, Faye Murray.
Good day, Toastmasters from all over the world, and especially to Elizabeth for sharing with us her first white Christmas in Toronto. With the story and Elizabeth's opening, I could sense a 5-year-old excitement, seeing that blanket of snow that she vividly described using a powerful visual and metaphor. Throughout the presentation, Elizabeth was animated when she recalled that lovely memory as a 5-year-old. She talked about the impatience going out there to play and the ritual of putting everything on, which gave us a glimpse of her parents who perhaps were not as enamored with snow as a 5-year-old. She pushed her chair back and did snow angels, which also captivated our imagination. I think there were several points, however, in this speech, which could have been even more gripping. At some point, she used a prop. She used the egg carton, which she paints in school, as her favorite ornament. And then behind that was this enamored, beautiful Dalmatian. The contrast of a simple homemade ornament and a store-bought snow ornament with Dalmatians and different moving objects perhaps could have been used to demonstrate the simplicity and magic of Christmas. It doesn't always have to be about the best store-bought thing. A simple egg carton painted with sparkles and magic could just be as treasured. I like Elizabeth's facial expression. Sometimes with her gestures, the hands disappear out of the screen. So I would like to suggest that if you're using wide gestures to move your chair back, as she did with the snow angels. I would like to have also felt a little taste of the snow. A child's first Christmas is not just the visual, it's also about the taste and maybe even the smell. But all in all, a very gripping story. And thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing your Toronto White Christmas.
Thank you for that evaluation of our second speaker, Faye. Now on to the evaluation of our first speaker with Darren Frew. And for that evaluation, we have longtime Advanced Speaker Club member, Diana Del Negro. She's an Advanced Communicator Silver, and she thinks this is the most wonderful time of the year because it's the opportunity to reconnect with family and friends. Please welcome Diana Del Negro with the evaluation of Darren Frew.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is so wonderful to be here today and give an evaluation for Darren's speech. My evaluation is going to focus on three sort of components: what worked really well with the speech, where there's always improvements that we can all learn from, and then sort of a couple of things about sort of giving a speeches via Zoom. First and foremost, I thought what worked really well for Darren was the fact that he has such great imaginative and vivid imagery. So from the moment when he started the speech, he talked about the adventure of the plane landing, and we can all just, you know, feel that bitter cold as he was trudging down off the plane, and you could just see the cold in his eyes as you look back and he remembers about how cold and windy it was. And then he spoke about the next morning, and he talked about with the next morning, he talked about getting up and, you know, opening the curtains and looking out to the world, and it was a much more beautiful day, and the ocean was blue and the sky was clear, and that was fantastic. In addition to that, taking a step back, I think what was memorable was also when he also spoke about driving over the hill into the town at night and all the beautiful Christmas lights and how everyone had decorated. When I think about, you know, when it's always ways to reframe a speech and what we can all learn from is focus on setting the stage for your audience so that when you start the speech, there's a roadmap and that audience knows where you're going. So one thing that I thought we could all learn from would be a title that kind of leads us down the path as the audience, such as Christmas Sensory Overload. So then we know we're going to have a story about Christmas sensory overload, of which Darren could start with. There was one time in my life where the Christmas, even though Christmas time can often be one of sensory overload, there's one really special time in my life that I'll never forget. And I'm going to tell you about that time today. And that was the Christmas in Newfoundland. And then you could follow up with and even break the speech into two different parts where you could say there were some things that were just such an amazing sensory overload, and there's others that when I look back in time, I think, well, maybe we could have changed that just a little bit. But I think that would have been a great way to roadmap, to pull together all the amazing vignettes of that speech that Darren shared with us, because they were heartfelt and passionate. When it comes to, you know, what I like via Zoom and focusing on Zoom, one, now that the screen has been enhanced, I notice my camera here is a problem. So this is why preparation is always good for all of us. But I thought what Darren did is he conveyed passion and warmth. Passion and warmth are something you really want to come through that camera lens so that the audience feels it from your heart, Darren, to our heart. And Darren did that very, very well. And then I also liked how Darren's eyes narrowed and how his face looked pained when he realized that he was not going to be able to sleep at night because of all the revelry and party going in the family. And that came through the camera also. So very well done. And then, you know, just how he finished up the speech talking about the warmth and how this special time meant so much to him, and he will never forget it. So a wonderful job, Darren. Very engaging speech, very humorous, and we all felt the warmth and the cold of a Christmas in Newfoundland. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Diana. Now off to what some of the guests in our audience may never have experienced before, and that is evaluation of table topics, which is done at each and every meeting in clubs in District 21 and 96 and others perhaps in Region 1 as well. So this may be a new experience for you, and please share your feedback at the end of the table topics evaluation, what you thought of the table topics speaker. Our evaluator today is Helen Worth. She's the treasurer of Advanced Speakers Club. She's an advanced communicator silver and a competent leader. Please join me in welcoming Helen Worth.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests from everywhere. It's my pleasure to be the table topics evaluator today. And it was in general a bit of a tricky table topics for our speakers, not because of the subject, because they were talking about things that were about them, but the timing. So even though you only have 1 minute, obviously table topics, you're still supposed to have a beginning, a body, and an end. And I find that a couple of our table topic speakers today maybe struggled with a little bit of that structure, in the back of their minds, still aware that they only had 1 minute to tell their story. And in specifics though, Margaret Lee, she was to talk about her activity, sport or other activity from childhood. She did a very good job, Margaret Lee. She repeated the question and then went on to tell us about her experience in Hong Kong and table tennis. I like the details she put in there, which actually added a bit more interest. She was talking about what you needed to do table tennis, how simple it was for anybody to play anywhere. My suggestion for Margaret, though, she then went on to try and talk about other things, and really in the time limit she had, it became a little too much. She talked about other experiences here in Canada. So perhaps in the time, just stick to one subject, give as much detail and sharing as you can, and then remember to close at the end by repeating the question in your summary. Second was Marilyn Knock. And again, she was talking about an activity from her childhood. I loved Marilyn's descriptive words. She was talking about her backyard and sitting on the box while she put her skates on. Again, we didn't quite have as much structure of giving us the question at the beginning and repeating it at the end, but she did have a very nice welcome and return hand back to the Toastmaster. Don't mention though the fact that you have limited time. Use your time talking about your subject. Next was Mary Lee Miller, who was talking about her most memorable Christmas memory. And I loved Mary Lee's visuals. She did the snow angels where she actually moved her arms and the screen. She talked about snowball fights with her brother, which made me laugh. Like, she managed to get that personal humor in there, which I think is always an added bonus to a story. And then sledding with her friends. And she did remember to repeat the subject that she'd been talking about again at the end before she handed it back to the Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, sorry. Taz was our fourth speaker. What I liked about Taz, as he was sharing his experience, he actually focused in on talking about one of the pictures that were on the screen. And he referred to it while he was talking about lights and things and how they used to decorate. And I really felt that added to what he was sharing with us. A personal story is always fun, but that connection really made it well. I noticed he did keep looking up to the right while he was thinking. And when you have such a short time to connect with an audience, I think you want to look to the screen as much as you possibly can, even though I'm referring to my notes as well, which seems a bit of a contrary comment. But I did enjoy his speech. Very nice pace and storytelling voice, Taz. I could have listened to you for a lot longer than the 1 minute you had. Finally, Yolanda, great voice variety. I love to listen to your voice, Yolanda. It was a wonderful personal story, and I really connected with you and you talking about your son and the humor that your children had wanted presents, not another baby. I just thought that was really wonderful. So that was a great experience to share with us. Just remember that structure around the speech again, with the introduction to the audience and the acknowledgement of the table topics master, and then a close at the end. But wonderful story. And so thank you very much to all of our speakers. You did a great job of capturing Christmas for everybody who's listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Next up on our program is a karaokeing break. But before we do, we break for that bio break or grab yourself a drink because we'll have a toast after. We want to set you up for the game that we will be playing directly after the karaokeing break of 4 or 5 minutes. So we are going to be playing a Kahoot game. And so I'd like to invite all of you that have never played before, or those that have played before, of course, in your browser to open a second window and put in that browser what I have put in the chat. It's Kahoot It. I'll spell it out. KAHOOTIT. And if I could get Mary Jo to put the pin in the chat for you all, so you will sign into Kahoot on another browser or in a second window in your browser. You could do it on your cell phone. And for those of you that aren't able to, we have got something for you. We're going to put you in a breakout room. So during the break, if you could identify to our Zoom master that you are unable to get onto Kahoot, we will put you on a breakout room and you will compete as a team. So very quickly, this is a game where you'll be asked questions. It's in a website called Kahoot. And as a participant, you will be going to Kahoot It. You will have to create a name for yourself. Please choose some unique name to log in so we can identify the winners of the Kahoot game. We will have a first place winner, a second place winner, and a third place winner. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Be ready after the karaoke break of 4 to 5 minutes to get going with that game. And now I'd like to turn it over back to our songstress, Veronica Armstrong, to put up our karaokeing.
Thank you, Margaret. We're going to go through this really quickly, so there's not going to be a break between our carols. We're going to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first, and then move straight into Jingle Bells. So if you're comfortable, please unmute and everybody sing. I know it's going to sound hilarious because we won't all be together, but that will be fun nevertheless. So let me see if I can get this going. Oops, seem to be having some technical difficulty here. Okay, let's see if we can move on to Jingle Bells. I'm not sure why that's not playing.
Veronica, we don't need music. We can just sing.
Okay, we can.
Hello.
True, we can just sing it, but let me see if I can do it. And if I can't, we'll just sing. Okay. All right, let's just sing. We'll just go straight to the verse for this one. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows.
It glows like a light
All
bulb.
of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names.
Like Pinocchio.
They never could adore Rudolph.
Rudolph.
In any reindeer game.
Like Monopoly.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say,
Ho, ho, ho.
off with your nose so bright, don't
you
like
like my
night. And how
Turn left.
I loved it as they shouted out with speed. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, will go down in history.
Like Pinocchio.
Okay, let's go to Jingle Bells. And hopefully you know the words to this because I don't know why it's not showing. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, or the
walk on
you
you
go,
go,
laughing
all
all
the
the
way.
way.
Hey,
Bells are box
ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a sleighing song tonight. Hey,
Hey,
jingle
jingle bells,
bells,
jingle bells,
jingle all the way. Oh,
Oh, what
what
fun
fun
it
it
is
is
to
to ride in a
ride
one-horse open sleigh.
Hey,
Jingle
jingle bells,
bells,
jingle bells,
jingle
jingle
all the
all the
way.
way.
Oh,
Oh,
what
what
fun
fun
it is
it
to ride in
is
a
to ride the
one-horse
one-horse
open
open
sleigh.
sleigh.
Jingle bells,
Bells,
jingle
jingle
bells,
bells,
jingle
jingle
all the
all the
way.
way.
Oh,
Oh,
what
what
fun it is
fun it
to
is
ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Hey,
Jingle
jingle
bells,
bells,
jingle
jingle
bells,
bells,
jingle
jingle
all the
all the
way.
way.
Oh, what
Oh, what
fun it is
fun
to
it is
ride in a
to
one-horse
horse
open
sleigh.
Yay! Thanks, everyone. That is our Carol Oakey for today. I'm just going
That
to
was so much
stop
fun.
the share. Thanks. And hopefully you all have been able to get onto the Kahoot.it.
What's the PIN number?
Thank you, Veronica. We'll proceed now with our toast, and I'd like to invite all of you to charge your glasses. Those looking for the PIN number, it is in the chat, so I'd like you to raise your glasses. They're charged, raise them in a toast to the most wonderful time of the year. To the most wonderful time
of the year.
What would a Toastmaster meeting be without a toast, correct? All right, now I know you're all excited about the reindeer games, and please, if you haven't been able to log on, do so immediately, and you will be playing from the main room. Those that were not able to log on, we want you to still be able to play the game. And so we're going to send you, our Zoom master is going to send you to a breakout room where you will participate as a team, and it'll be very exciting in there. And if by chance you get left in the main room and you're not in a breakout room, just identify to Zoom Master. He'll put you in a breakout room, and I thank the hosts for being willing to lead in those breakout sessions. And otherwise, those that are left in the room can just play by answering the questions on their own. So the Kahoot game has 13 questions, and it asks questions from holidays around the world, not just Canada, but you'll be asked and posed questions from around the world. There'll be 13 questions. You have exactly 90 seconds to answer the question, and then we'll go on to the next question. Timing counts in this game, and spelling counts. So if you spelled it incorrectly, it will not score for you. And the faster you type in the answer, the higher your score will be. We'll have at the end of the game a first, second, and third place person. I am going to call to the stage to the person that created the game for the Advanced Speakers Club and put it all together is my protege, Mary Jo Shashin, and she is from Lebanon and has done all the work on this and will be leading us through the game. She is in Persuasive Influence in their Pathways program, and this will be one of her projects. So please join me in welcoming Mary Jo to lead us through the Kahoot game.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, everyone. Now, if I may just ask the person that is sharing their screen to stop the sharing, since I will be sharing in the main room. We will be starting the game in a few seconds. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm glad you're all here, and I hope you're excited for the game. All of us, let's show some excitement, thumbs up, some reactions in the chats while we wait for everyone to be settled in the game. I will be sharing the screen for all of you. One moment. If I could be made as host, I cannot share the portion of the screen, but this is fine. I will share my screen. I hope you will be able to hear the sound as well. The lobby. Okay, we still have some people joining. I request of Margaret to show me a thumbs up when I start the game. Do we start? Amazing, let us start then. Holidays Around the World Challenge. Go. So I request you to start typing the answers. What festival of lights is celebrated by lighting 9 candles? First question, you have 90 seconds. 8 people has answered, 10 answers, 15 answers, great. 20 answers, you're fast. And time counts, don't you forget that. 36, 37, 60 seconds to go. Seconds. What festival of lights is celebrated by lighting 9 candles? 48 answers. Amazing. Seven seconds left. 20 seconds. 50 answers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Be so many answers. The answer is Hanukkah, and there are 3 spellings: Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Shanukkah. So whatever you put in there is the correct one. Good job. We have 13 good answers. And let us move to the scoreboard. Amazing. Nicole is in the first place. Great job, Nicole. Okay, let us proceed to the next question. What is the name of the Pixar movie that was inspired by a 2-day-long Mexican holiday commemorating the dead? 90 seconds. Start typing your answers. 10 answers, 12 answers. Amazing. Faster. It's an amazing movie, by the way. For those who didn't watch it, I really recommend it. 60 seconds, 32 answers. Seconds to go, 40 answers. Amazing. Seconds to go. 50 answers. 51 answers. Quick, almost done. The name of the Pixar movie that was inspired by a 2-day-long Mexican holiday commemorating the dead. Okay, time is up. So what is the answer? Some people answer Day of the Dead, but the question is, what movie is inspired by the Day of the Dead? So it is Coco. It's a Pixar movie. It's an amazing movie. I recommend it, guys.
Okay.
Let us move to the leadership board. Alethea is now in the first place. Nicole, where did you fall? Let us be faster in our answers. Okay,
I'm coming back.
I was born in the Maya Devi temple and my birth is celebrated in most of East Asia. Who am I? 90 seconds. Already the answers are coming in. 5 answers. Not hard, just be careful about the spelling. Six answers are there. Amazing. 55 seconds. 37, 40 answers. 43 answers. 44. 30 seconds to go. Come on, come on. The picture there is the picture of the Maya Devi temple, located in Nepal. 12 seconds. 10 seconds. 51 answers. 3, 2, 1. The answer is, oh, so many different. Okay, we had 4 different spellings or names. 22 people got it right. Amazing, great job. Alethea is still the first. Congrats. Great job. The others, some effort, put some effort. Be faster. Use Google. It's fine. What North American festival is based on an African harvest traditions and celebrated December 26 to January 1? Don't forget that you can use Google. $75 cents. Go. 16 answers. Come on, come on. Kwanzaa. Some people didn't spell it right. 25 people spelled it right. Amazing. Angel Eyes is now the first. Congrats, Angel Eyes. Now let us go to the next answer, to the next question. The 5-day festival of new beginnings and of triumph of good over evil that is celebrated by Jains, Hindus, and Sikhs is... 43 seconds to go. 43 answers. Amazing. Ten seconds to go. 54 answers. 55 answers. And the time is up. So many different answers. And the answer is Diwali, the Indian festival. 39 correct answers. Amazing. Great job. Angel Eyes is on fire. This means several questions done right. Good job. What was given as a gift on the 6th day of Christmas? This one is a bit trickier. Think in your head if you have to. I hope you're hearing the music.
Yes, we can hear the music. It's lovely. Thank you.
Amazing.
Now, can you just tell us the answers, please?
After the questions. They're being sent broadcasted after each question.
I can't wait that long. I need to know it now.
That's a bit difficult. Sing in your head or Google the song. Come on, come on. 25 seconds to go. 44 answers. And 10 seconds to go. 52 answers. 2, 1. Okay, so I would like to apologize to those who wrote 6 as a 6 as a number. I'd like to apologize. I was not able to put more than 4 options. We should have said write the numbers in letters. It's okay. Important thing is to have fun, as we say. Congrats, Mawa Mzuri. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. You can send me your pronunciation in the chats. I'm a period of fasting, reflection, prayer, and community. In 2030, there will be 2 of me. Who am I? This one is tricky, a bit of a riddle. Think of it. Google, try and Google. You have time. You have 75 seconds.
Google.
seconds to go. 21 answers only. This is a bit challenging, isn't it? Be careful not to write it in the chat, write it in the game. If you're not in the game, you can keep score with yourself. We will place the answers at the end in the chat, don't worry about it. And the time is up, 45 answers, so many different answers. And the answer is Ramadan, 25 correct answers, great job. Ramadan is always 1 month earlier. So in 2030, it will be both in January and December. Congrats, Bat Marcus. Not sure also if I'm pronouncing right. Let's go to the next. What holiday is celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th month of the lunar calendar on the full moon in Korea?
Holiday is celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th
85 seconds.
lunar calendar on the full moon in Korea.
Think, Google, research. 75 seconds. Thirty-five seconds. 38 answers. Holiday in Korea. I did not choose this creepy music. I was hoping for more Christmassy music. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is Chuseok. It's also known as Hangawi, Thanksgiving, or Autumn Eve. 25 correct answers. Great job, everyone. But Marcus is still in the first place. Amazing. Next question. What holiday is celebrated in Japan by lighting lanterns to commemorate one's ancestors? I hope we have some Japanese. 80 seconds. Only 2 answers. Come on, time counts. Express your excitement through the chat, but do not share the answers. Thirty-five seconds. 40 answers. Twenty seconds. 45 answers. Come on, come on. 10 seconds to go. A lot of time to wait, right? You can read about the holidays on Wikipedia in the meantime. The answer is Oban, also known as Bon. 16 correct answers, amazing. Mao Mzuri is again in the first place, great, beating the rest. Three questions to go. Question 10, Tet Nguyen Dan is the name given to the first day of the Lunar New Year in this country. Type the name of the country. $70 seconds.
Then Dan is a name given first day of the Lunar New Year in this country.
Four answers. Three, two, one. And it's Vietnam, 44 correct answers. Yes, spaces do contribute to the answers. Be careful. Great job. Mao Mzuri is still the first. Amazing. Great job. Question 11. What country celebrates Songkran, one of the world's largest water festivals that also marks the New Year? 83 seconds, 3 answers.
I think Kella gave up. He's just dancing now. Caleb's dancing, or he's celebrating. He got the answers.
Someone is writing the answer on the... That's cheating. To erase that. Zoom Master, help to the rescue. Five seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. So many different countries. All of these 4 countries celebrated, but Thailand is the main one, and 45 answers for Thailand. Amazing. Mao Mzuri, great job. You're almost there, winning. We still have 2 questions. What holiday is celebrated by putting 7 things on the table that begin with S? That's interesting facts from around the world for you. 80 seconds. 30 seconds to go. 35 answers only. Where is everyone? Don't give up. We still have 2 answers to one other question. Come on, put in your answers. Use Google. Google is our friend. Who can live without Google nowadays? 5 seconds to go. And we're... Okay, it's the Persian New Year, or Nowruz, or Iranian New Year. Amazing, great job. 16 people got it. Mao Mzuri, keep up the first. There's only one question left. In what ancient city did the real Santa live? This one is a bit difficult. You have to sharpen these Google skills. It's not the North Pole, or is it? 65 seconds. I love the answers in the chat. Disneyland, Gotham City. Amazing answers. Hollywood. Ten seconds to go to finish the last question. Try. 3, 2, 1. Suspense. Mira. It's also known as Demre. Not sure if it's pronounced right. 14 correct answers, and this marks our last question. Who are the winners? Amy C is in the 3rd position. 2nd is Bat Marcus. And first is, drum rolls, Mao Zuri. I really hope I did not butcher your name there.
You did a good job.
Amazing. Congratulations, everyone. And everyone is a winner today because you learned something new, didn't you? I will share the responses in the chats when I'm done. And that's it for the game today. I hope you all enjoyed. And I will give back the control to you, Margaret.
Mary Jo, can you leave the screen up and we'll see if we can get a screenshot with the 3 winners.
Of course.
We can get our Zoom master to spotlight our winners. And in the meantime, if I could ask participants, if this was your first time participating in a Zoom meeting, could you just share your comments about how you enjoyed that and what you learned? If you learned something new, please share that.
Could whoever those 3 people are let me know who you are, because I can't find your names, given that they're not your real names. So could you please let me know who those are, because I can't find you.
Yes. Let's see.
Marek Kamiński.
Maui, Missouri, raise your hand. Raise your hand so that Richard can see you and the Zoom master can spotlight you.
I sent a message spot.
I think that's one person.
Sorry, that you have them, Richard?
No.
Okay, we'll try for Bat Marcus. If your name is Bat, or if you're...
I'm here.
Okay, there he
Oh,
is.
you're there. Okay.
Okay, and then Amy C. Amy C, where are you? Raise your hand so the Zoom master can see you. There's Amy.
Amy, congrats.
Okay, and now Mawa, Missouri. If that is your,
Me, I'm CD38 Basha McCrum.
I'm sorry, who's ever speaking, it's way too muffled. We can't hear you.
It's Basha McCrum.
There, yay.
At the bottom.
Okay. That looks like they're all there now. Margaret, do you want to take the screenshot or somebody else?
Yes, let's go ahead and take a screenshot.
Give me a second, I'll turn on better light. Wait a moment.
And just, could you put Mary Jo up here instead of me?
Sure, yeah.
Sorry,
Where's Mary Jo gone to?
By the way, I was second, so maybe I should be like...
Well, the order we can't control too much.
Oh.
No, we can't.
Smile, everyone. All right, let's give them a round of applause, everyone.
Congrats, ladies.
Hi, everybody. That's fun.
I was basically quick Google searcher. I came into this Hanukkah, but I was so late, so it was like 10 seconds before the end of the first question I came. So still second place is decent.
Wow, absolutely. Great job. Wonderful. All right, we are running right on time on our schedule. So before we go to our general evaluation, I would like to have some comments from people around on how their experience has been of the 12 clubs of Christmas. If you would raise your hand, I will call you. And if you put your hand up in the participant window, so at the bottom where it has participants showing 125 people, please raise your hand if you would like to share, and I will call whoever puts their hand up first to share 30 seconds or 1 minute. Khalid, I see your fan physically up. You didn't put it in the participant, but I'll go ahead and ask you to get started and share for 60 seconds how you have enjoyed the 12 clubs of Christmas.
Madam Margaret, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests, I would like to start by saying happy holidays. I really enjoyed this club, this meeting. We have more than 130 participants from literally around the world, and that was a very fun experience. The Kahoot questions were a bit unique because they were not exactly well known. They were basic trivia. It felt like it was a bit who's the next millionaire yet on Kahoot. They were pretty cool. I can only say thank you to MJ, who is basically my mentor in my club Mercury. And for the table topics, I really loved the lightning round of table topics, 1 minute table topics, and that was pretty cool.
Good.
Concerning the speeches, it's well as well.
Thank you for that comment. Let's give him a round of applause. I believe James Wade had his hand up next. Wade, James, sorry, could you keep it under a minute?
Definitely. Hi, this is James. I'm calling from District 30 in Chicago. Very happy to be a part of this experience. I met so many great people from Toastmasters around the world that I never would have met. Talked with a number of you. Thank you for that. I failed miserably at the Kahoots game, but I learned a lot from this game. I learned about how to use it in my own club for our game night. And I went to Japan, Australia, Oman, and Ireland up until now. So I skipped for a little bit of a sleep break in the middle, but it's just fantastic, this whole idea that I could be transported from the Bahamas to Canada in less than 5 seconds. I thought was amazing. Where else can I do this? And anywhere in the Zoom except through Toastmasters. I can't think of another place. So thank you very much.
Thank you, James. All right, we'll go to Karan, and then we have a comment from Japan, and that's all we have time for. So others, if you could put your comments in the chat, we would love and appreciate that. Over to you, Karan from District 49 in Hawaii.
Thanks, Margaret. It's been such a wonderful experience. I mean, I did my best to be on as many as I could. And then just the culture, just the questions that were asked, just the speeches and the speakers. I was so amazed at how everything could be so different and yet the same and familiar. I know that they say whenever you go to a Toastmasters meeting around the world, it should be the same feeling, the same welcoming that you get. And you truly could experience that in 24 hours. And I'm so thankful to Margaret, as well as many of the other people that were involved in getting this all together. So I'm so excited for the next round, especially because Hawaii is coming up.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Karan. Over to you, District 76, Japan, with 1 minute and under comments.
Oh, are you referring to me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I'm Renee from Japan, and I actually was the first Toastmaster of this 24 hours meeting. Some of you recognize me, and it was really nice experience to wake up Monday morning and open Zoom and find people fully dressed in nice way, costume, fresh, smiling, and warm atmosphere and everything. And time zone was the most stunning impression of all these 24 hours. And it also taught me of how Toastmasters organization actually exists and so much alive all over the world. And this is weird, but I am so impressed, and this is unforgettable experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. And I invite all the rest of the participants that have their hand up, please put your shares of what your guest experience been in the chat, and we will collect them all and we will share them on Facebook, and it will be part of the memories and histories perhaps of the first 12 clubs of the holidays, as we have been taking a magic carpet ride around the globe. It's time now to go into our general evaluation. Before we turn it over, it's typically the case at the Advanced Speaker Club that our December meeting, our holiday meeting, we always end the song, the meeting, by joining hands in a large circle and singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." So I want you to be prepared for that, because after the general evaluation, we are going to invite you all to join hands, so to speak, in our virtual rooms, the camaraderie and the friendship that we have gained over the last 24 hours, and sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" all together. But first, we need to have a general evaluation of our meeting. And we have with us past District 21 Governor May Sue DeVetta, who will be doing the general evaluation. And what May said, why this is the most wonderful time of the year is being with family. And she has a very special holiday thing she cooks, which is Norwegian meatballs, a nice replacement for turkey. Over to distinguished Toastmaster May Sue DeVetta.
Mute myself here. Hello again, friends from around the world. This is such a wonderful time of the year, indeed it is. And today it's most wonderful because us Toastmasters and you all created it. I liked it when we started on time with Marilee brought her gavel here, and I liked it when she used a tagline which was actually coined by our very own President-elect Margaret Page. Honor the past, honor the present, shape the future. She had a list of instructions to give us, and that was very good to start off our meeting. My only little thing that I need Marilee to be aware of is looking down at the paper. Otherwise, she was perfect. And then I moved on to our chair. Of course, there's no words to describe Margaret Page, as you all know, our president-elect. She is polished, she's poised, she is perfection, and she displayed that today. I know how much she prepared. I think she probably doesn't sleep at all. I mean, that's my only little issue with Margaret. I feel she doesn't sleep. She spends so much time preparing for our meeting, which, as you can see, is perfection. I liked it that she thanked the Fabulous Four, and she also thanked the people who contributed to the success of this meeting. Then Veronica, well, what can I say? She's got a voice of like a bird, a wonderful, beautiful voice. She's got this beautiful smile on her face, which lights up the whole screen. The only thing I could say for Veronica is that it would be nice if she started off the session swaying her body a little bit more. It took a little while to warm up. Oh, I'm already at green. Right, and then I move on to the evaluators. The evaluators are our super A evaluators, so it's very hard to pinpoint any glitches that and anything about the evaluators, except that they were so insightful. They gave challenges, and they also pointed out the challenges. I would like to say if I compare Faye Murray's evaluation and Diana Negro, Faye had such a beautiful, calming voice. I would like her to exert a little bit more energy while she speaks, and also there was a little bit too seriousness in her voice. If she could put a little bit of smile on her face. I mean, a little bit too serious in her face, not the voice, sorry. Diana, on the other hand, set the stage by describing what she was going to do evaluation. So she was very easy to follow. The only thing about Diana's evaluation is that if she could go at a slower pace, I think her evaluation would be more effective. Both of them were very encouraging. They gave very, very beneficial insights to our members. Helen Worth, although the table topics was very tricky, and she pointed that out, she managed to give very detailed and in-depth insights to the members. It was very hard for me to pick up something that I wanted Helen to improve on this presentation. But if I have to say something, her eyes did look down below a little bit more often. Table topics master. Wow, one of our members here mentioned it was crazy wild, was crazy good. Describe our Canadian culture through pictures. It showed that she understood there were many members who do not know how these activities look like. So she did that so beautifully. Thank you very much, Marilee. That was wonderfully done. There was a few glitches overall. With Kahoots, I'm not sure how successful it was. Like in my team, there was only 2 of us. And then, of course, a little bit delay in the PowerPoint sharing. Apart from that, again, what can I say? We did us Toastmasters did a perfect job today. It's a display of perfection, ably chaired by our 2 co-chairs, Margaret Page and Dorothy Miller. Thank you so much. Keep creating beautiful memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Mesu Deveta. We have a couple unsung heroes to acknowledge right now before we go into singing our Christmas carol that we always end the Advanced Speakers Club meeting with. And I would like to acknowledge those people that took additional training, spent additional time being familiar with how to be a breakout host to manage and support those people that couldn't get onto Kahoot. And so I'd like to acknowledge Diana Del Negro, Tracy Zoe, Faye Murray, Isabel Joe, Dorothy Miller, and Khalid. And I'm not sure how to pronounce Khalid's last name. And of course, Mary Jo for doing such an outstanding job of putting that Kahoot together. Let's give them all a round of applause. And last but not least, we have the amazing gentleman that has been our Zoom master today. Not an easy task, spotlighting people, putting people into break rooms, taking people in the waiting room, entering in the room, making sure people were muted, on and on and on. And please, please put your hands together for a rousting round of applause for Richard Clune, our Zoom master today. All right, now I am going to invite Veronica Armstrong to lead us in our closing song, and then we will be passing the gavel on to the club from Texas, which is Afterburners Club, and their president, Laura Stewart, will be stepping forward. Veronica, take us away.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please unmute and let's sing all together. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Somebody's gonna be showing.
Merry Christmas. Wish you a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
You and your
Wish you a Merry Christmas.
and a happy
New Year.
Bring us a figgy pudding, so bring us some figgy pudding. Bring us right here.
Wish you a
Merry Christmas.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. Wish you a Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Off my chair. Thank you, everyone. Chaos, but fantastic.
Chaos, but indeed.
All right, well, that rendition of the song was a little bit shorter than we anticipated, which is fine. I always get a kick out of everyone singing together on Zoom. It's such a fun experience. I can think about it a week later, be driving down the street and all of a sudden burst out in laughter, recalling the experience. It was so wonderful. Well, we are going to make sure that we end before the allotted time, but I want to make sure that Laura Stewart is in the house so that I can gavel down in this club and pass her the gavel. There is the president of Afterburners. Please, everyone, give her a round of applause.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
They are the next club that is taking over for the 12 clubs of Christmas. So I will gavel down the advanced speaker meeting, declare this meeting adjourned, and then I will pass the gavel over to Laura. Here you go, Laura.
What time travel? Thank you.
Magic.
Thank you so much.
Joy, have a fabulous meeting. We've had a great time, and we wish you all a very Merry Christmas this year.